Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, May 16th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, not giving into the rise of the machines, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome one and all. You know you can check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And on today's show, well, I'm going to deal with the devil. I made a deal with the devil and AI, and I have decided to book TNA from now up until Slammiversary and book the Slammiversary pay-per-view. It's going to be an interesting show, but for now, you know what's next, so just go on and hit my music. All right, there have been some recent call-ups, and how are they doing? These are the best of the recent NXT call-ups. Number 5, Ricky Saints. Even though he's only been here for a couple of weeks, he's going up against Mello. He's going up against Cody. He's going up against Matt Cardona. So he has already been put in a position to mingle with some of the top stars of the SmackDown brand. There's a lot hanging on Ricky Saints' shoulders. He came in with a lot of fanfare coming from AEW. Did all right in NXT, and we're hoping that the main roster is a bit better. Number 4, Fatal Influence. The faction of JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed have already been just dancing with everybody, so much to the point that their booking has changed. They are getting great heat, and who would have thought that after all of this time, you know, the quote-unquote spinoff to Toxic Attraction would be this successful. Toxic Attraction never made it to the main roster, right? And JC Jane has been the last one standing. She stands out. Lainey Reed and Fallon Henley aren't far behind. Number 3, Sol Ruka. Yes, she was obviously going to get called up from NXT, and she has immediately been put on Raw, and she's been immediately messing with Becky Lynch. Sol Ruka has a lot. Sol Ruka is a lot. They see something in her, and I get it. She has already been positioned as an already Intercontinental Championship contender. I expect big things from her and for it to continue. Number 2, Javon Evans. Even though he hasn't won a title yet, he has been positioned as one of the top stars in the mid-card scene, already fighting for the Intercontinental Championship, wrestling at WrestleMania. Javon Evans is only, 22 years old, and he's already on the main roster. He has a chance to become the premier high flyer in the WWE. Number 1, of course, Trick Williams, the current United States champion, is number 1 because, well, he is the current United States champion. Even though his ring work leaves much to be desired, he needs to improve on that. His presentation, his mic skills, everything else has fallen into place, has already made him over so much that he came in as a heel, and he's now already a face. Let that sink in. That's why Trick is number 1. We'll be right back. Spotlight is back on, and is shining on your new X Division champion, Cedric Alexander. He defeated Leon Slater, who was very close to becoming the longest reigning X Division champion in the history of TNA, and now Cedric holds that illustrious championship. Now, many of us thought that when he was released from the WWE, he would obviously be going to AEW to reform the Hurt Syndicate. No, he's actually now in TNA. He's a part of their top faction in the system and holds gold. They hold 2 major championships in TNA, and Cedric Alexander has been a big part of that. He has shown that he can do the heel work. He has shown that he can do the mic work. The ring work was always there, and now here he is defeating one of the top future stars of not only TNA, but of professional wrestling. And he's a good hand that you can easily rely on. Cedric Alexander has been great, and he's just getting better and better, which is crazy to think so far into his career. The spotlight is on Cedric, and he's clearly shining. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is this is a very special episode. This is going to be, I guess, fun. So in the news recently, we heard that the WWE is using AI. Now they're saying that they're using it as just a tool to flesh out things. Many of us hopped to the conclusion that they are using it to book shows and to book storylines, which I can totally believe. I mean, we're literally seeing them use generative AI right now in their promo packages instead of just, hiring their production staff. So, AI, right? It's pretty much been thrown into our faces. It has been everywhere at this point. So, I thought I would get AI to book a wrestling show. Not only just book a wrestling show, but book weeks worth of shows leading into a pay-per-view. And I chose TNA for that. And I'm using Copilot. So I said, Copilot. Let me tell you, hold on, let me open it up. Let me tell you exactly what I said. I said, I want your assistance in booking TNA storylines and shows going from now and ending with their Slammiversary pay-per-view. I will give you the current champions and any other relevant information. That was my prompt, right? And I hit it. I answered, right? And it gave me this quick answer, right? Well, first of all, when you use Copilot, you can have it go into different modes. Smarter. Let me see. Let me go home. Let me go home real quick. So you can have it go into think deeper, or you can have it go smart, which is thinks deeply or quickly based on the task. Think deeper, better for more complex topics, study and learn, quizzes, guided learning, and more, and search answers with enhanced references. I chose think deeper, right? And this is what we came up with. All right. So it said, after I put in my prompt, I gave it it gave me the short answer, right? It says, I'll book 6 weeks TV to pay-per-view plan, weekly Impact episodes, and a Slammiversary card that builds clear title pictures, elevates the X Division, Ultimate X Division, and delivers satisfying payoffs at Slammiversary on June 28th, 2026. I'll assume the current facts reported on May 14th to 15th are that Cedric Alexander is the X Division champion, Eric Young won the #1 contender Battle Royal, Mike Santana is the TNA World Champion, Brian Myers and Bear Bronson hold the tag team titles, and Slammiversary will also feature an Ultimate X match. So there's something that's missing, right? There's something that's missing. So it gave me the plans and overview and the champions, and then it booked 6 weeks of shows and didn't book Slammiversary, right? I did. It booked Slammiversary, right? Then I had to take a look and say, okay, you know what? This isn't horrible. But I then said, hey, you're missing the international and knockouts tag team champions. I had to tell it that the current champions are Mustafa Ali as for the international champion, and the Knockouts Tag Team champions are the Elegance brand. It updated and acknowledged my assumptions, right? And that's what it did. It added those in, rebooked the card. So it gave me a new Slammiversary card and then rebooked the 6 weeks worth of shows. So when it gave me the Slammiversary card, I'm looking it over, right? It gave me the matches and it put it into a table. So the first column is the match. The second column is the stakes and story, right? The third column is the suggested finish, right? And I'm like, okay, you know what? This isn't bad. So we did all of that. It then also offered me the option to have detailed episode scripts with entrances, promo beats, match finish sequences, timing, and camera crews. A minute by minute Slammiversary show flow, promo copies for the wrestlers. So it was offering literally to book my wrestling for me. Everything. And I didn't need all of that, right? I can go off the top of the dome. So after I made some spelling changes, it gave me my shows again. And I'm looking over everything. It's got camera crews. It's literally doing a fine job. It's giving me notes on the pacing. It's giving me notes on the execution, right? And I'm looking over everything, and it's still missing something. It's missing the challengers for the Knockouts Tag Team titles. So I said, okay, the challengers for the Knockouts Tag Team titles are Mickie James and Taryn Terrell. Make the change. Rebooked everything for 6 weeks, right? So we get to all of that, booking everything. It books the go home show. It gives me Slammiversary, right? And I'm looking over everything, and I'm like, okay, this looks good. Now, sometimes what AI will do is it'll take what you want and then think it's making a change for the better, and it's not. So when it booked the Slammiversary card, it has a kickoff match, and it then later separated it from the main card, but it's supposed to be the first match on the card, which is why it's a kickoff match. So it gives me the Slammiversary card at a glance, right? And I'm looking over it, everything's cool, but it's missing some things. It's missing so for the kickoff match, it just said X Division Showcase opener, local rising star versus qualifier. I then had to go, okay, well, now I got to look up who's a local rising wrestler from Boston. So I had to not only add in the local rising wrestler, but also add in a qualifier, right? Looking at everything, okay. For the TNA World Tag Team Championship, it put in the champions versus the top babyface team. Well, I had to tell it who the top babyface team was, and I chose BDE and check my book. I chose BDE and Elijah. Looking at everything. Okay, we get to the X Division Championship Ultimate X match. It had in Cedric, Leon, Trey Miguel, Casey Navarro, and the surprise entrance. I have to go and tell it who the surprise entrant was. We'll get to that a little bit later. Grudge match. Mike Santana ally versus an Eric Young ally, and this is the stipulation match. Well, I have to go in and tell it who the Santana ally was and who the Eric Young ally was, right? So I did all of that. It gave me my new card. It booked the matches. It booked the matches. It gave me the follow-up. And then after all of that, I still had to make changes. So, for example, it had for weeks 3, 4, and 5, it had Eric Young and Mike Santana in matches against each other, like one-on-one matches. So I had to tell it, hey, they should not be fighting until the pay-per-view. It also had for 2 weeks the Elegance brand going up against Mickie James and Taryn Terrell multiple times. So I had to manually change that to one-on-one matches, right? So it again did its job, but you have to be very, very specific, right? It's almost like the genie from DC. You have to be careful in how you word your wishes. So, with all of that being said, let's see how Copilot booked our 6 weeks worth of shows and the Slammiversary pay-per-view. And it also gave me some more notes for after pay-per-view, the creative rationale, the follow-up, and the post-pay-per-view direction. All right. So we start off with our week 1 of TV shows as we're building towards Slammiversary. This is the build-up. So the opening of the show is Mike Santana comes out. He cuts a promo. Ricky Sosa's at ringside. You know, their boy Santana brags. Camera lingers on Eric Young in the crowd. You know, Eric Young likes to do that spooky shit. We got a shadow vignette. So then we get to a vignette, right? It's a shadow in the crowd hinting at a new presence. And Zelina Vega is briefly shown, right? Our first match is the X Division qualifier. Kellen Thomas versus Ryan Nemeth, and Ryan Nemeth wins to earn an Ultimate X spot. Cedric Alexander watches on the monitor backstage. So I'm gonna pause here. I added a Kellen Thomas for the pay-per-view, not for this match, for the show. He was supposed to be a surprise. So I'm not gonna I didn't make any more changes. I'm gonna see how it does leading into the pay-per-view. Right. Then we got a backstage vignette with Ali accepting an open challenge for next week and hints at some mind games he's got for his stipulation at Slammiversary. We got a tag match. Brian and Bear Bronson versus BDE and Elijah. The Hills retain with via a tainted finish, and the baby faces get strong near falls. We got a Knockouts tag team segment with the Elegance brand as they're happy, they're strutting it, they're the champs. Mickie James and Taryn Terrell, who they've been feuding with leading up to this point, interrupt and say, we want a shot at Slammiversary. Elegance, they accept. Why not? They've beaten Mickie and Taryn before. Cedric Alexander cut a promo, and he had recently defeated Leon Slater to win the X Division Championship. So Leon Slater ambushed him and beat him down bad, and Cedric is stretchered out. Right. Our main event segment is Mike Santana versus Steve Maclin. Santana wins after Ricky Sosa neutralizes a late interference by Eric Young, and Zelina is still shown watching. And that's how we end week 1 of TNA, of Impact. So honestly, not bad. All right. Week 2, qualifiers and heat. So open up with Eric Young cutting a cold promo. Dire Ray defends Santana, and Zelina is shown backstage in a short vignette hinting at more involvement. We got some Ultimate X qualifiers, right? Trey Miguel versus Casey Navarro. Trey Miguel wins. And Leon Slater versus a local talent. Leon Slater wins via a controversial roll-up. So are we getting a heel Leon Slater, or maybe he's just a tweener? Because this is unbecoming of Leon Slater. We have an International Championship Open Challenge. Ali retains with the crafty reversal and teases his special special Slammiversary stipulation. We got a Knockouts Tag Team title match. Non-title match. Mickie and Taryn versus the Elegance brand. The Elegance brand wins via distraction from Mr. Elegance. And Mickie and Taryn cut a passionate promo afterwards. They lost. So they really, really want to get this match. BDE and Elijah demand a fair rematch, and Brian Myers and Bear Bronson of the System mock them. Then we got the contract signing tease for Santana and Eric Young, and Zelina is shown backstage whispering to an unseen figure. So we can kind of extrapolate who that figure is, right? So I had to go back and make a change. Yeah, I mean, I had to go back and make a change because it had Slater as bad and Cedric as good, and that is no es bueno. So I went and made the change, and we go into week 3 of our shows. Our opening contest is Ali versus Macklin, with Ali retaining via small package. Then we got a vignette of a tease of someone, right? Quick flashes of athletic feats, but no name is revealed just yet. We go to our second match of the evening, BDE and Elijah versus some local talents. They win. The Elegance brand taking on a Knockouts undercard tag team. Let's go with Mila Moore, and I think there's a lady named Jade also in TNA. They win. Mickey and Taryn attack after the match because they need to get their lick back. We got Leon Slater versus Casey Navarro. Slater wins. After the match, Cedric attacks Slater from behind, cementing his true allegiances. We got a promo package for Lei Ying Lee. It's got martial arts inspired visuals, and she speaks about honor and discipline, something that Zaya Brookside has shown not to have recently. And our main event segment is the contract signing. So we fixed that. So we moved the contract signing from earlier, because I redid everything, to the end of the show. Santana signs, Young signs, the light flickers. Malachi Black appears behind Santana, and Ricky Sosa cuts him off. There's a pull apart brawl, but Santana and Young never touch each other. We then go into week 4 of our shows, right? So we have an Ultimate X Gauntlet qualifier. The arena goes dark, and who wins the qualifying match? Who wins the gauntlet? Who runs the gauntlet? It's his debuting Apollo Crews. Good. So he's now part of TNA. So we have a vignette for Cedric Alexander, who's mocking Slater, calling him a charity case. Our second match of the evening is Lei Ying Lee versus Zaya Brookside in a non-title exhibition. Lei wins clean, and we're supposed to get a respectful stare down, but I don't like Zaya doing that, right? We get a promo package for Mickey and Taryn, both Knockouts champions, former Knockouts champions. It's an emotional retrospective on their careers, and they want one more run, one more moment. Third match of the evening is Brian Myers and Bear Bronson taking on BDE and Elijah, and the Hills retain via a controversial call. So we're getting this tag match, right? Mickey James takes on the Lane of Black. Mickey wins. Taryn and the Elegance brand brawl at ringside. Our last match of the evening is Ali taking on the local challenger. Ali wins, and Macklin storms the ring, but Ali escapes. Then we got our main event segment, which is Santana and Young face to face. Young tries to bait Santana into hitting him, and Santana refuses. Malachi Black attacks Ricky Sosa instead, and there's another pull apart brawl, and once again Santana and Young never touch each other. We go into week 5, right? Opening contest of Cedric Alexander versus Trey Miguel. Cedric wins clean. Slater saves Trey from a post-match beatdown. We get a vignette for Slater, who speaks about fighting for the fans and standing up to bullies, because Cedric Alexander's a bully. Then we have Mustafa Ali versus a fan, someone, and Ali wins clean, and Macklin chases him off. And then here's another change, right? It has the Elegance brand versus Mickey and Taryn again, but I see what they're doing. The Elegance brand won again via cheating. Mickey and Terrence still stand tall after the match, but they keep losing. Then we have Xia Brookside versus Harley Hudson, and Xia wins, and Layton Lee watches from commentary. Brian Myers and Bear Bronson take on Elijah versus a local partner, and the heels win. BDE and Elijah vow to take the belts. Then we got a promo package for Apollo Crews. It's full cinematic vignette, trading clips, family voiceover. He said, "I didn't come back to participate. I came back to win." Main event segment, Santana's championship address. Young interrupts from the balcony. Malachi Black attacks Ricky Sosa again, and Santana storms toward Young, but security walls them off. No contact. So we're on to this is week 5, and each and every week of the shows so far have all ended in a main event segment for the world title. It did not give me any changes. So I'm feeling like I have to vary the ending of the shows. Because you just can't keep ending with everything. That's another necessary change. And you're starting to notice a pattern. So let's get into the go home show. This is week 6 for Impact Wrestling, and we're going right into the pay-per-view. Mickey and Taryn face the Elegance brand again, and they finally win to gain some momentum. So now they have that title match. So you're thinking to yourself, well, does that water down the title match? They faced each other like 3 straight weeks, but the Elegance brand kept winning. Elegance brand kept cheating. Now, I would have had singles matches for those 3 weeks. It's very, very simple. Mickey versus M, Mickey versus H, Taryn versus M, Taryn versus H. You can split the wins up however you want it. I would have done that instead of having the tag matches where they keep on losing. That's a change that I would make, but I see what Copilot was going for. Then we have Ali take on Casey Navarro. Ali wins. Macklin takes the ball again. Macklin cannot get his hands on Ali. Xia Brookside versus Lena Black. Xia wins. Layton Lee enters for the final stare down. We get a vignette finally for Malachi Black and Zelina. Has dark ritualistic visuals. Zelina whispers as Slammiversary, the reckoning begins. Last match, well, not last, second last match, BD and Elijah versus a local trio. So it's a handicap match. The babyfaces win. Bear Bronson and Brian Myers attack after the match. And our last match of the evening is Leon Slater versus Trey Miguel. Slater wins. Apollo Crews appears on stage for the final Ultimate X stare down. And again, our final segment of the show is a segment and not a match, right? So both men enter the ring. They stand inches apart. Neither throws a punch. And once again, Malachi Black appears behind Santana and Ricky Sosa cuts him off. And officials flood the ring. And once again, Santana and Eric Young do not touch each other. So now I'm getting bored. So Malachi Black for these 3 weeks never got his hands on Mike Santana. Okay. So after I made the changes before we get to pay-per-view, made the changes of our add-in Apollo Crews as the surprise entrance. So here are the key TV updates for weeks 4, 5, and 6. Because let me go back to week 3. I don't think. Yeah, Apollo Crews is just teased. We don't know. So it made the necessary changes for weeks 4, 5, and 6. And week 4 was the final qualifier reveal, which was Apollo Crews. Week 5 was the momentum vignette. And week 6 was the final words. So let's get into the pay-per-view. let's get into Slammiversary. So, originally I had to, after that, doing everything, I said I need some pre-show matches. TNA does do pre-show matches, unlike the WWE. So, we have 3 matches on the pre-show. We have a Knockouts #1 Contenders Fatal 4-Way. The participants are Mara Sade, Elena Black, Tessa Blanchard, and Harley Hudson. This match goes about 8 minutes. Mara Sade wins with some type of top row sequence and the creative purpose. Now, I did not tell Copilot the creative purposes for this. I did not. It did it themselves. The creative purpose for this was to establish the next Knockouts World Title Challenger with a decisive, crowd-pleasing win. Second match was Victoria Crawford having an open challenge, which was answered by a returning Kylan King. This goes 6 minutes. Kylan wins clean. This reintroduces Kylan King as a major returning threat. I miss Kylan King in TNA. I do. She was great. Then we have an impromptu match. Mr. Elegance versus Moose. Moose wins decisively because he should win decisively over Mr. Elegance. And it gives Moose a dominant moment and humiliate Mr. Elegance to fuel future heat. Now we are on to the main show, right? We have the opener, which is an X Division showcase of Kellen Thomas versus Ryan Nemeth. It goes about 6 minutes. Ryan Nemeth wins clean. Hot, energetic opener to warm the crowd and spotlight Ryan Nemeth. Okay. Then we get into the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match, what we've been waiting for weeks on end. The Elegance brand put the titles on the line against Mickie James and Taryn Terrell. This match goes 12 minutes. Mickie and Taryn win clean, and we get a feel-good legacy moments to refresh the Knockouts Tag Team division. We followed that up with another tag team match with the Men's Tag Team Championship. Brian Myers and Bear Bronson of the System put the titles on the line against BDE and Elijah. And this match also goes 12 minutes. The System retains via a tainted finish. They maintain heel heat while elevating the babyfaces with strong near falls. Okay. Then we have the Knockouts World Championship match, which is Laying Lee putting the title on the line against our former tag team partner Zaya Brookside. This match goes 14 minutes and Laying Lee retains clear. What this does is it showcases Lay's athleticism, elevates Zaya as a credible future contender. Gotta get that spotlight back on her. International Championship. Ali puts the title on the line against Steve Macklin. Ali retains via a crafty reversal. It reinforces Ali's cerebral champion persona and protects Macklin. We never get a stipulation. Never get a stipulation because it was all mind games for him. We get the X Division Ultimate X match. Cedric Alexander put the title on the line against Leon Slater, Trey Miguel, Casey Navarro, and Apollo Crews. This match goes 18 minutes. Apollo wins by unhooking the belt. There you go. It's another change. You actually hang up the, you know what I mean? It creates, so this match, what it does is it creates a viral, high impact moment and elevates Crews as a top tier X Division star. We get our grudge matches, and I like this. So we have our penultimate match, which is Ricky Sosa versus Malachi Black with Zelina Vega. This is Malachi's first match in Impact, and Malachi wins decisively. He always got the better of Ricky Sosa, and this establishes Malachi Black as a dangerous new force aligned with Eric Young. All right, and then our main event match, the TNA World Championship, Mike Santana versus Eric Young. Santana retains clean after a brutal finish. This match goes 25 minutes, and what this does is cement Santana's reign while keeping Young strong for a rematch arc. So, my thoughts on the pay-per-view. I agree with everything on the pre-show. X Division opener. I don't know why we're spotlighting Ryan Nemeth, but okay. Knockouts tag titles, I'm cool with that. The system retaining, I'm cool with that. Laying Lee, I'm cool with that. Ali versus Macklin, I'm even cool with that. Apollo Crews, I'm fine. Now, I'm actually fine with everything with the exception of spotlighting Ryan Nemeth. So, after saying that the allies for Eric Young and Santana respectively were Malachi Black and Ricky Sosa, this what it did for me. This what it gave me. Malachi Black's debut was the leading against Eric Young, incredible, menacing enforcer, and a fresh visual dynamic. His decisive win over Ricky Sosa immediately legitimizes him on arrival. With Malachi Black establishes Young's muscle, Santana's clean win over Young is more meaningful. Santana overcome not just Young, but the looming threat of Malachi Black. Remember, leading up to the pay-per-view, Malachi Black never could get his hands on Santana because Ricky Sosa was protecting him. Future threats. Malachi and Zelina can be used to escalate Young's program, interference, teases, psychological warfare. Malachi Black can then branch into singles feuds with Cedric, Trey, or even tag teams, while Zelina manages and provokes and then transitions to the Knockouts division. For Apollo Crews, his combination of power and athleticism makes the Ultimate X finish feel fresh and credible. His win creates a high-impact viral moment and immediately elevates the X division. It protects Cedric Alexander's near miss and post-match sympathy, preserves his chase narrative. So here we go. Cedric's the bad guy. I think this was made after I had to make the change that this was made before after I had to make the change that Cedric was bad and Leon Slater is good. Cruz' reign opens up TV options with multiple defenses, and everything else kind of stays the same. So what is the post pay-per-view follow-up? With Santana retaining, Eric Young continues as the top contender, building to a rematch with a stipulation, maybe last man standing or a street fight. The X division has the new champion, which is elevating itself and himself with TV defenses. Ali's crafty reign with the international title continues until Macklin pivots to a revenge arc or moves into the world title picture if needed. For the Knockouts tag team titles, Mickey and Terrence reign is used to elevate the division. The Elegance brands are chasing for a heel rematch, and the tag titles the system retains, and the baby faces are also pursuing. So, how did my first expedition into using AI to book a wrestling show go? I thought it went well. I noticed that you have to be very, very specific. You have to be specific in how you word things. You have to be specific in how you want these storylines to go. So you give it a prompt, you flesh it out, you look at it, and you flesh it out again, and you keep going. But for 6 weeks worth of shows, I liked it. I would have made some tiny changes, and I chose TNA because they have the right roster size, and they're leading into a big pay-per-view in 6 weeks. I was going to try to do WWE, but they've got the Clash in Italy coming up, Saturday Night's Main Event, and SummerSlam, and I'm not going through all of that. Now, maybe doing Saturday Night's Main Event, going to SummerSlam, maybe. This could be something fun that we continue to do. Let's see. Let's just see. I might do another show where after we get out of Slammiversary, we'll do Slammiversary up until the next pay-per-view. We'll see. But that is our show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look on the screen we got coming up. Check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Anna J, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, Priscilla Kelly, Isla Dawn, and Bailey. Holla at your boy. Peace.